Welcome to the stream, boys. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you. I forgot to press record again, but it's okay. It was only in the beginning of the stream. So today I want to look at obviously the weekly candles that we had. Everything just the weekly candle just closed right yesterday. And I haven't looked really at the weekly candles, so let's have a look at this, because I do think this is one of the most important weekly candles that we had so far. Let's start with Ethereum. Yeah, okay. For example, this is a really impressive bullish weekly candle. If you compare it to Bitcoin, you can see that Ethereum actually closed above the most recent swing high, and Bitcoin didn't, right? The most recent swing high on Bitcoin was here, and you can see that Ethereum closed above its swing high and Bitcoin didn't. For me, this means that Ethereum is gonna be stronger long term. Like, obviously not long term when it comes to 10 or 20 years, right? But at least it's gonna be stronger this cycle, I think. Ethereum Bitcoin is also looking quite nice. So Ethereum looks way more bullish than Bitcoin, structurally speaking. Like, basically Ethereum confirmed that this low right here is the macro low on Ethereum. On the other hand, Bitcoin hasn't confirmed that yet. You know, Bitcoin needs to close either the weekly candle above these highs, or it needs to close the monthly candle above 77k. You know, so if either of these scenarios happens, this would also confirm the macro bottom is in for Bitcoin. But Ethereum already confirmed it. So since Ethereum already confirmed that the macro bottom is in for ETH, I do think it's more likely that Bitcoin will confirm it sooner rather than later as well. Which is really nice, right? However, this doesn't mean that there's not gonna be any pullbacks, right? It still needs to form a higher low. No, like just because Ethereum closed the weekly above doesn't mean it's just gonna go towards new all-time highs, right? That doesn't make sense. Like, on the maximum bullish I could be on the Ethereum is if it goes towards like 3k.1. I can see this happening, but eventually it needs to pull back and form a higher low, right? The question is where the higher low is going to be. We can't predict this just yet. We need to wait and see where Ethereum is going to have its swing high first in order to be able to tell where the next higher low is going to be. But yeah, after a swing high obviously comes a swing low. Now the swing high is in the process of making its swing high. It's not finished yet. We can't really tell where the swing low is going to be on any coin. But Ethereum is looking really bullish on the macro scale now. Bitcoin still bearish, higher time frame, but this can change in 7 days when it closes the monthly candle and the weekly. Hype, obviously mega bullish as well. Had a really nice weekly candle closure. It closed above its swing highs there and made new all-time highs. And every time a coin makes new all-time highs, it's usually pretty bullish, right? Does it have bearish divergence? It has bearish divergence on the weekly. So this is just one concern. But Hype can pull back all the way towards like even 56, you know, and it's still bullish on the macro scale. So if you get a pullback on Hype, don't be afraid to allocate your spot positions on Hype. When it comes to Pump Fun is also really bullish. it closed a massively weekly candle above this level, above these highs, which was my signal and confirmation that the macro bottom is also in for pump fun. But obviously pump fun is in a difficult spot at the moment. Like, it's, if you look at the weekly chart, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, you know, like it's kind of below resistance but also above support, you know, so it's kind of hard to find a play on the higher time frame for it. Like, the next opportunity, in my opinion, for pump fun would be either to short this weekly supply zone, right, with the weekly Fibonacci levels as well. So this is what I'll be looking for on pump fun. I will be looking for the short, and for longs, I'm looking for this pullback area right here. This is the 0.382 Fibonacci numbers. Number that also aligns with Woodsbot levels. If I turn it on, you can see it aligns perfectly with the Woodsbot level as well. So this is where I will be looking for pullbacks on pump fun. I think this can provide a really nice opportunity for it. So I'm not looking to trade pump fun right now. I think it's a coin that I'm gonna be staying away for some time until it either hits like this weekly supply zone, or if it's gonna be hitting like this 0.039 number for a pullback, right? So I'm expecting this is a 30% pullback, you know, it's not unlikely, even though it might seem a bit too much right now, or a 23% pump into the resistance. So it's gonna take some time before pump fund gets into my levels, but I'm pretty confident that it's gonna be reaching either of these levels for longs or shorts. The limit bot entry can be very sexy. I haven't actually looked at the limit order bot. Let me see what we have. Yeah, so the limit order bot wants to long hype around 73, which yeah, okay, so basically it wants to long this confluence zone. Like, it's not at the confluence zone, but almost, you know. So what this tells me is that the limit order bot thinks that this wick low right here is gonna hold, right? This is what the limit order bot basically tells me, that this low is gonna be holding, and it's aiming for a higher low, right? It's aiming for a higher low, and then continue up towards the all-time highs. This is what it seems to want for hype. I mean, it makes sense. I'm gonna set myself an alert for this one. I don't think I want to blindly set a limit for it. I do want to definitely manually. I want to see if there's some really low time frame bullish diversions, you know, like a 5-minute or even 1-minute bullish diversions, if it comes to this area. For Bitcoin, it wants to long potentially like 74k. It hasn't cancelled that limit order yet. I wonder if it's going to be canceling it. I think if Bitcoin is going to be rejecting here, I think I'd like a bit of a deeper pullback. Ideally, I want like this confluence zone instead of this one, like just a bit below, you know. But I don't want to see price action coming below this area again. If Bitcoin is going to be bullish. What is your opinion about Tau? I haven't looked at it, I think for a week now. Last time I looked at it was pretty dead. I mean, it's actually holding quite nice, right? But they actually managed to hold this Woodsbot level and basically confirm a higher low right here. Right. Like Tau deviated here and confirmed a higher low, which is nice. I'm kind of sad to, you know, I'm kind of sad that it didn't sweep the 10-10 lows. Like most altcoins swept the 10-10 lows, you know, which is really nice because people are getting away with such an easy invalidation now. And all the other altcoins basically swept the 10-10 lows. But it's holding really nice. It's still in the under the trend line. And I think the most obvious thing for Tau to become bullish is if Tau basically just accepts above this Woodsbot level right here, right? Like if it closes the weekly above 290, this will be super bullish, right? Like then we can talk about Tau actually making like new all-time highs, you know. I do think if it closes above 290, I do think it can easily make new all-time highs above $800. But it's still a long way to go, right? But on the higher time frame, this is the place where I would be interested in. If it closes above 290, it can easily make new all-time highs after this. But it needs to close the weekly above, right? Until then, I think you should be looking more for shorts as well. You know, like it can retest this trend line here. You have supply as well, right? You have supply right here. And if it retests the trend line around 266, you can definitely have a pullback first before it breaks out. But it's forming up really nicely. I actually... Is Tau on breakout? Let me see. It is. Okay, nice. Little Phil the Binance will get 2000. Does it? What? Does it have such a big wick? Not on this chart. No perps. Damn. Okay. I mean, this would be crazy, no? That is TP1 for the swing. Imagine it goes. That would be pretty nuts. That would be pretty fucking nuts. I don't know what market cap is Tau right now. I'm interested in it. Let me see. Tau is around 2.7 billion. 2.7 billion for Tau market cap. That's already a lot, you know. Like if it were to go up towards 1.2k, would mean that the market cap is around like 7 I don't know, it's above 8 billion market cap. That's a lot. Like, I can see it happening. I've never understood what Tau does, by the way. Like, I have no clue what it does. I know Eli is pretty bullish on Tau. But yeah, I do think like Tau is finally setting up to become actually bullish on the higher time frame, you know? Like, this was just bearish, right? But now it's starting to look really. It has potential to become really bullish. Eighth bot limit is nice too. Eighth. Yeah, it aligns with the Woodsbot level as well, right? Right here. Like not exactly, but almost. Which is always pretty nice. I do also think that eighth is a. Is it? Like the one thing with eighth is that I'm not sure if it's gonna be making new all-time highs, if that makes sense. No, because for me it looks like it could also just pump towards $300, you know, and make another lower high, right? If this trend of lower highs continues. Obviously it would still be a pretty massive move, you know, like it would still be over 100%. But just keep in mind that on the higher time frame, there's still potential for AVE to make a lower high instead of making new all-time highs, right? Like you can see this here right here, like it made 4 lower highs so far, right? So there's definitely potential for another lower high. In AVE not making new all-time highs. I do think Tau is making new all-time highs, at least when it comes to like getting above like 760. I don't know if it's gonna be making new all-time highs when it comes to this week. I'm not too certain about this, you know. But at least when it comes to candle closures, I do think it's gonna be making new all-time highs. Hype obviously is gonna be making new all-time highs, and I also do think that Pump is gonna be making new all-time highs as well. SEC also looks pretty amazing. Not gonna lie. Like SEC looks so fantastic. But it's so hard to find a nice proper pullback on it. Like the first pullback that would make sense is if it comes back down towards 750, right? This would be the most logical pullback. Like it would be a retest of new all-time highs. It aligns with confluence zones. I think this is the pullback that makes the most sense. But SEC is looking so strong on the higher time frame. I think it actually looks even better than hype, to be honest. Like if you look at the momentum, right? Like on the momentum side, on the weekly, it actually made new highs on the momentum. Meanwhile, hype has bearish divergence, right? So I think SEC is actually looking a bit more better than hype, more at least on the higher time frame. Man, whoever catched that, like whoever bought SEC right here, like my god, like holy fuck, what a pump! Like I didn't have it on my radar, you know, at all. At least in 2025 I didn't. I just knew it was like a privacy coin, but besides this, I didn't really watch it too much. Like for me, it looked kind of dead, you know. I mean, if you look at this, it was dead for over 1,000 days. So over 3 years, it didn't do anything. But now, my God, like it's looking so good. 20,000% move to the upside. It's crazy. Can I have your opinion on XPL? For sure. XPL. Damn. You can even see my old Fibonacci retracement pulse right here. But it just basically went on only. I mean, it's definitely looking worse than the other altcoins that we went over so far. Like if you look at the other altcoins we were looking at, like all altcoins like Hype, SEC, Pump Fun, you know, like they actually closed above the recent swing highs. But XPL is still under this, right? Like it's kind of sort of like Bitcoin in this awkward spot. It confirmed a higher low, so this is good. But even though it confirmed a higher low, this doesn't mean that it has to make a higher high, right? Like it can make a lower high first, come back down into this Woodsbot level, and then make a higher low, and then push up, you know. So it's kind of in this awkward spot, like the same way Bitcoin is. And I do think that the other coins have more potential to trade right now. But I can see it having a nice potential if it comes back down into this Woodsbot level right here. If it flips, yeah, then it has nice potential. But it's already rejected once, you know, on the weekly. So is it gonna flip this? I'm not too sure. How's momentum looking? Momentum wise, it's also not too good, you know. Like if you look at the 12-hour, there is bearish divergence on the 12-hour time frame. So maybe it has another push up, but I do think this push, if it has another push up, I do think it would be for shorting and not for an actual breakout, you know. But I do think it has potential if it comes back down towards maybe like 0.086 towards 0.083, something like this. Kaito is still dead. Kind of crazy, isn't it? Like, how can a coin just die like this? Like, it had one day where it actually pumped nicely, but after this it just died. If any one of you is still trying to trade Kaito, I don't think it's, just let it be, you know. I think there are other coins that are worth trading instead. Unless it gets like a crazy funding rate again, you know, like minus 2% or something like this. But the Kaito's dead. I think it's actually just dead. kind of looks good for some swings. Yeah, you know, maybe another swing short. Maybe another swing short. Like it can still go down 90%, you know. Inji is moving, yeah. You know what makes me suspicious? Like that the market is pumping into macro resistance on every coin. Is that you see these kinds of older coins, you know? Like even though, like back in my days, Inji was a new coin. Like I was there when Inji basically first released, you know? Like you can even see my support and resistance zones right here, right? Like from 2024, 2023. Like I used to trade this coin a lot, but like seeing these kind of coins that were basically dead, coming back to life is kind of suspicious in my eyes, you know. Like you guys know the rotation that happens in crypto, right? Is that first Bitcoin and Ethereum pump, and after they finish their pump, the money rotates into altcoins, you know. First the majors like SEC, Hype, or whatever. But then it goes like into the real shitters, you know, like the old coins. And usually when this happens, this is kind of the last pump before a pullback, you know, like a nasty pullback. So I'm kind of being. I want to stay patient because I do think a nasty pullback is coming if I see INJ like pumping like this, you know. Like it doesn't have to do with any technicals, but just speaking from experience. Whenever I see this kind of stuff, like it's kind of scary, you know. Like it tells me to be cautious. I'm looking to short Bitcoin, by the way, in this region right here. I want 80k, 0.600. I think this could make up for a nice short on Bitcoin. If it has, you know, if it has another bearish divergence, you know, like if it comes back up, like, you know, like maybe pulls back here, maybe into 78k, and then pushes up once more, like has triple bearish divergence on the 4 hour, this would be a really, really nice short opportunity. And I'm looking to trade this. I think it's a good level, you know. It would be it would still align with a potential lower high on Bitcoin. It has a Woodsbot level, a 3-day Woodsbot level. You have 4 hour bearish divergence potentially, like triple bearish divergence on the 4 hour. I think this would be a nice potential short setup on Bitcoin. I'm looking to play this. But I'm not looking to short ETH. I think it's better to short Bitcoin than Ethereum, you know, just based on the market structure. Alright guys, do you guys have any questions? If you don't have any questions, I would call it a day here. Perfect. And then I thank you guys for coming on this late Monday. I hope you guys have some plans to execute on. Have some ideas what I'm looking at, and maybe your view of the market aligns with my view, you know. But always make sure to trade your own plan. You know, don't just blindly follow me. yeah, thank you guys for coming. We will be seeing each other on Wednesday again. I think on Wednesday I'm gonna go over some psychological stuff again. And yeah, thank you guys for coming. Have a nice day. Bye bye. See you on Wednesday.